Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today, we are going to be ranking every single one of the fairy types in Pokemon Sword and Shield before the Isle of Armor expansion. Once Isle of Armor comes out, then there's definitely going to be a couple more fairy types to add, but for now, let's close the book on expansion list Sword and Shield by getting those fairy types tiered and figured out how they were in the game. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, as we remember from the last time that I've done a tier list, I've broken it down to some very, very simple ways of categorizing everybody. S tier are Pokemon that you just can't live without, Pokemon that are amazing and like godly in this tier. A is Pokemon that are really, really good. B is Pokemon that are somewhat good. C gets a little worse. You don't really see them on too many teams. D, you're really barely going to put them on anything. And F, God knows if you ever put this on your team, you're probably not going to have a very good time. And then, of course, we have subscribed to Pokésports, which are basically just the Pokemon that could be good, but just need to learn a thing or two before they really get there. So those are our tiers. Let's use them. Let's put some Pokemon in some categories. Now, starting off, I'm sure everybody kind of glancing over the tiers over here, they can probably see one or two Pokemon that are, some spicy in this tier. Namely this one right here, and maybe that one, couple over. We're going to get to those, and I'm going to have some explanations for them. And of course, we are going to be going over Smogon and VGC. So the Pokemon like Clefable, who we're going to start with, who in VGC is okay, but in Smogon is amazing, is going to end up in the A tier. Because Clefable, for Smogon, I would have 100% put that in the S tier. It makes too much sense. It is just an insane Pokemon in its tier. But in VGC, it just kind of gets outclassed by some of the other fairy types in this category. So that's going to be that for Clefable. Moving on, we've got Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales. Now, Alolan Ninetales is fun because it's got the snow warning. You can do a bunch of different, hail team shenanigans with it. I believe Kevin actually just put out a video recently about having a Vanillux, which you could very easily replace with a Ninetales and do mainly the same kind of thing as Vanillux. In Smogon, it's in singles, it's kind of useful. It's not really seen as much in the different tiers. So you know what? We're going to give it a C rating. Alolan Ninetales is good, but you're not really going to see it on the high meta. You're going to see it, on some meme teams, on some teams that want to make hail work, but hail in and of itself is not really the best weather out there. Next up, we've got Galarian Rapidash, which is an interesting one. Galarian Rapidash is one of those Pokemon that just has an amazing typing. It's got the Psychic and Fairy, so that Dark weakness is kind of mitigated, so you don't actually do super effective damage to a Galarian Rapidash, but it's definitely no Gardevoir, unfortunately. I think it could be good if it just had a couple tweaks to its skill set. If it had a couple tweaks to its move set, it could even be good. Even to its stats, if it just had a little bit more speed, I think Rapidash would be actually pretty useful. And so because of that, it just needs to learn how to get faster. It needs to learn how to get better. So Galarian Rapidash, you're going to subscribe to Pokésports, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, like Galarian Rapidash, it's got 105 speed. That's pretty good. But why doesn't it just have 110? If you're going to give it 105, might as well give it 110. 505 based stat total isn't so bad. Come on. Next up is Galarian Wheezing. Now, Galarian Wheezing is super cool because it has that neutralizing gas ability, which makes it kind of unique, incredibly unique, really. Like, there are a lot of very niche situations where you can actually use it. I kind of thought going into Sword and Shield that it would have seen a little bit more play than it did, but I mean, you've got some uses out of it. It was okay. Now, in terms of its stats and its moves, it kind of has the same problem that regular old Wheezing did, where it was okay. It functioned well as a wall, but it just didn't give that damage output or that utility that really made it good. If it had neutralizing gas plus an offensive kind of stat pool and an offensive kind of nature, then it would have been a powerhouse, a very, very destructive Pokemon. But because it was built as a defensive Pokemon, it wasn't really seen too much. And for that, I'm actually going to put Arian Wheezing in the D tier, because I feel like a lot of Pokemon in the Fairy type just gives everything such a high advantage. So things that are in the D tier for Fairy are not really going to stack up too well against the Pokemon in the D tier for, say, Water, right? Pokemon in the D tier for Fairy are probably going to be going up against Pokemon in the B or C tier for Water, Fire, or Grass, just because Fairy is just such a good typing. Now, speaking of Fairy being a good typing, they gave it to him, but it just wasn't enough. I'm sorry, it just wasn't enough to make you good. Mr. Mime, I've got to put you over in the F tier. You just don't know. You're not good, buddy. You're not good. Now, Mr. Rhyme, however, if you were a Fairy type, beauty, 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 beauty. Now, the third Psychic Fairy type is Gardevoir. Gardevoir is an amazing Pokemon. You look at Galarian Rapidash, you look at Mr. Mime, you say, okay, what is it missing? Mr. Mime, it puts up the shields, but it's not really all that good of a Pokemon. It doesn't really have that kind of special attack. Galarian Rapidash, it has kind of high attack, it has kind of high speed, but its move pool is just so lacking, and there are so many Pokemon that kind of do it better. Gardevoir, though, Gardevoir is a crazy Pokemon. It kind of knows what it is. It's min-maxed in kind of a better way than I would say Galarian Rapidash is. Galarian Rapidash, with its 100 attack and 105 speed, that kind of makes it a fast Pokemon, but not as powerful as it could be. Gardevoir, though, it goes in at 80 base speed and 125 base special attack. So it knows that it's a special attacker. You know that you're going to have to give it some kind of speed support if you want to make it go first in most battles. But if you do get it to go first, then oh man, is it ever going to do some good damage there. Don't even get me started on Mega Gardevoir, because that was an insane Pokemon. Pixelate was just stupid, but I mean, Gardevoir's regular abilities kind of leave something to be desired. Telepathy's Synchronize, okay. Trace, pretty good sometimes, but this Pokemon you're really going to see more use in singles these days. So Gardevoir, I'm going to give you a would I put you right up there with Clefable? No, I don't think I would. I would actually put you in the yeah, I'm going to put you in the B tier. Gardevoir, you're good, but if I had the choice between Clefable and Gardevoir, because I am going to pick one, I'm not going to put two different Fairy types on my team, because it's not the same kind of thing as Ghost. Should really do a Ghost tier list. Then I'm definitely going to be choosing Clefable almost every time over Gardevoir. I'd even put a Psychic move on the Clefable just for that extra damage. So anyway, next up's Mawile. Mawile is a bit of an unfortunate case. I'm sorry about Mawile. On behalf of the Pokemon Company, I apologize for Mawile. Mawile used to be good when you had its Mega. Oh man, when Mega Mawile came out, that was one of my favorite Pokemon. I used to love playing with Mega Mawile, but ever since Megas were dropped, Mawile has just fallen directly to the wayside, into the F tier with you, unfortunately. However, I will say that if you can just learn how to go Mega again, I'd put you right up there at the A tier. I think that is 100% where huge power Mega Mawile belongs. Until then, we'll put you in the F tier. I won't even have you subscribe to Pokésports, because I think you subscribed to Pokésports before and you got everything that you needed. And now you are ready to just accept that Mega again and become the Mawile that you used to be. Next up is Nope. Next up is Nope. Next up is Aromatisse. Aromatisse, no, not touching that one. I mean, listen, it's super slow. You can put it on a Trick Room team. It's got some good support. It's got Wish. It's got like Protect, Moonblast. You can use on that. Aromatherapy, another move you can use on Aromatisse. But man, it's just no. If you have any other Fairy type, you can basically use that. Like, I'm happy with you using Ribombee over Aromatisse. Just no. Slurpuff, however, is a bit of a different story. Slurpuff's an amazing Pokemon. It was anyway, before they went and took out the best thing about it. So listen up. Slurpuff used to have a move called Belly Drum. Belly Drum, an amazing move where you cut your HP in half, but you bring your attack all the way up to +6. So you're going 4 times your normal attack stat. Slurpuff's got Unburdened, so now it's a super fast Pokemon. If you live through that first turn in singles, you're sweeping most teams. That's just all that there is to it. I don't know if you've ever played a little thing called random matches on Smogon, on Smogon on Pokemon Showdown, but that is 100% where I found it out and where I had it sweep me many times. And so from then on, whenever I grabbed a Belly Drum Slurpuff, it was a good time. So I'm going to put that over in the B tier because I believe that it is a killer. However, it's actually dropped these days because Sword and Shield took out Belly Drum. So let's drop you down to the C tier. But does that even make sense? Because no, you can't even use it now. If you're going to try Smogon rules and you can bring Pokemon in from previous generations, then you can actually use it. But that is the one case where I would suggest using a Slurpuff. Apart from that, it doesn't really make too much sense. So I'll keep it in the C tier. Would it go ahead of Galarian Ninetales? I believe so. Yes, it makes I think Galarian Ninetales is very firmly in the C tier. Next up is Sylveon, and I like Sylveon a lot. I've always liked the evolutions a lot, but Sylveon has a very, very special place in my heart because that is one of the first times that I got to experience Pixelate for myself. Even before Mega Gardevoir, Mega Sylveon, not Mega Sylveon, geez, regular old Sylveon with the Pixelate, getting to use Quick Attack, that was pretty sick. Getting to use Hyper Voice, that was pretty sick. So I need to put you actually ahead of the Gardevoir. But my question is, do I put it in firmly in the B tier or do I put it in the A tier? I would actually consider A tier Sylveon because of that Quick Attack. Getting a priority Quick Attack off on like any Pokemon that has a weakness policy. So a Dragon type Pokemon, you can get your Dragapult boosted with that weakness policy before it even gets a chance to attack. And Dragapult's a super, super fast Pokemon. So, you know, you kind of want that priority to make sure that it gets that +2. It's a pretty insane combo. So I think it belongs in the A tier. Does it go ahead of Clefable though? No, I don't think it goes ahead of Clefable. Because again, Clefable in singles, there's just so much that you can do with it. It's an insane Pokemon. It is #1 on Peakalytics. It has been for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Now, next up is one of my favorite additions to Series 3 is this one right over here, Primarina. Primarina is just such a good Pokemon. If you want to go and check out a video where we explain Primarina and talk about all the cool things that you can do with it, you can go and check that out up in the cards up there at the right. But it's just such a cool Pokemon that does so much and is super versatile. I wouldn't put it in the S class because in singles it kind of, leaves a little bit to be desired. I wouldn't even call it S class for VGC. But what I would call it is definitely in the A tier. I don't think it stacks up to Clefable. I think Clefable might end up being my leftmost A tier character. So I'm going to put it ahead of Sylveon because I think I personally would choose to put a Primarina on my team over a Sylveon. In most cases, I'd put it over a Clefable as well, but just definitely not in singles, only in BGC. Now, next up's Ribombee. Ribombee is actually a pretty insane Pokemon if you get down to it. With the Sweet Veil ability and the Shield Dust ability, those are both abilities that you can really get to use on your team really well. If you're afraid of your Pokemon going to sleep, toss that Sweet Veil on it. If you're afraid of secondary effects, toss that Shield Dust on it. Bug and Fairy is a pretty good typing. It's got some weaknesses. It's got quite a bit of weaknesses, but its offensive capability is just so good. If you Dynamax it, you can actually go for the Max Flutterby or the Max Starfall. It's okay. In singles, it has some good uses in UU, OU, even Ubers as a supportive Pokemon. So you might want to consider it for all of your like sticky web needs, for things like that. So I'm going to say that Ribombee actually belongs just behind Ninetales. Just behind Ninetales, Galarian Ninetales. Galarian Ninetales, it has some offensive power. But Ribombee with only a 95 special attack, that's okay. It's super fast too. It's got 124 speed. But I don't know, it's just not very defensive. 60 defense, 60 HP, 70 special defense. Like, it's not going to live all that much. So you might want to consider things like Focus Sash or other things to keep it alive. What is a Shinotic? What even are you? I know what you are. You're a little flashy mushroom guy, but hey, what do you even do? It's like one of the remaining Spore users in the game, but it's got 30 speed. Like you're using it, I guess, in Trick Room as a tank because it's high HP and high defense, special defense. Like, but no, dude, you're not good. You're not good. So I'm gonna toss you in the F tier. I think I'm gonna keep you as the lowest. Mawile, I'm gonna put you above now that I'm looking at the F tier because I think Mr.Mime's got some stuff over the two Pokemon below it, but over Aromatisse and over Shinotic, but man, it's just not comparing to Mawile. No. Now, a Pokemon that's really cool, and I want to talk to you about this one in singles, is Sylveon. Sylveon is a really good Pokemon in singles that you can use in your UU teams. Multi-attack gets really good. It turns out when you put a 120 power move with a fairy stab, that's not bad at all. Think of another high power fairy move that you can use, like what? Play Rough? Multi-attack's got like what, at least 25, I believe, more power on top of Play Rough. Like it's not a bad move at all. Plus it gets access to other kind of coverage, so like Crunch and Psychic Fangs. So it's got some pretty good sets that it can take care of different Pokemon with. It's got 95 stats all across the board. In most cases, Fairy Sylveon is good. Not going to see it in VGC. So I'm going to put that one pretty firmly in the C tier. I'm going to put that one, I believe, below Galarian Ninetales, because again, Galarian Ninetales has a lot more utility in VGC. Real quick, I want to go and look for, I don't think that there's another Pokemon that accentuates the D tier more than Galarian Wheezing. I was about to say that, like, let's find a Pokemon that can share the tier with them, but nope, I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're just going to have Galarian Wheezing in the D tier. But who else can subscribe to Pokésports? You know who can subscribe to Pokésports is Alchemy. Alchemy, you can go right in there because the only thing that you're really good for right now is your Gmax. So you're like one step away. That's not even true. A lot of people like to use Alchemy for Decorate. Decorate's a really cool move. It ups your special attack by 2 stages, like your attack and special attack by 2 stages. It's like you're triggering a weakness policy on a Pokemon that doesn't even need a weakness policy. So now you can have a Focus Sashed Pokemon go in, actually, treat it like it used a weakness policy and still hold that Focus Sash because Decorate doesn't do damage. So it has a ton of utility, and you really want to keep that on an Alchemy there. So you know what? You know how I just said, though, that Galarian Wheezing is going to stay in the D tier? I'm going to go ahead and take that back, so I apologize. I'm going to put Gmax Alchemy in the D tier. And I apologize for anybody who loves the birthday cake and wants it to be really good, but personally, I don't find Gmax Finale all that great. It heals the user and its allies by 1/6 of their current maximum HP. Like, it's just not great. You don't need a move that has healing baked in. You need a move lowers or raises a stat or puts down weather, or a move that puts down like misty terrain, like this, like Gmax Starfall or Max Starfall does. So I don't know. I'm gonna put it in the D tier. I think that Dynamax Alchemy is really good, but if we're talking specifically Gmax Alchemy, I think it loses out on a lot of things that make Alchemy good. That being Decorate and Gmax and Max Starfall. Let's super quick get the dogs out of the way. Zacian, I'm gonna put right up there in the A tier. I'm gonna put it at the end of the A tier because you can't use it in VGC, and it's just not, this tier list encompasses both of them. But for singles, for Ubers, it's insane. You know what isn't insane is Zamazenta. Zamazenta, you are going to go in the C tier. You're just not the better doggo. I like Zamazenta more, to be honest. I kind of wish that it was good, but Zacian is the clear winner in this one. It's got some crazy attacks that can take out most of the Ubers meta. So you're going to be using Azation one time or another if you're contending in Ubers. All right, we're almost done now, folks. We've got Grimmsnarl, the I want to say screen setter himself, the prankster man. I'm going to put him in the B tier because I think that Grimmsnarl is just really cool, does a lot of good stuff, but has a couple key weaknesses that can really bring it down pretty fast. It's not a meta killer. What is a meta killer, though, is Mr. Togekiss. Togekiss, you're going straight up to the S tier. Was there any doubt ever? Togekiss, you're able to do so much with. You can do scope lens sets and crit everybody until they go home and cry. You can go ahead and Dynamax that and set up a max airstream, get some plus speed on you and your other Pokemon. You can have it be a follow me tank, so make a defensive Togekiss with a Babiri Berry and like really have it tank a lot of super scary moves that you don't want other people to take. Togekiss has it all, and for that reason it stayed on number 1 on Pikalytics for weeks and weeks and weeks and is currently the still number 1 on Pikalytics. Now going back to the Grimmsnarls, Gmax Grimmsnarl is a good Pokemon. I'm hesitant to say that the Gmax Snooze really does too much for the game. It has a 50% chance of putting Yawn on the other Pokemon. I don't see that one used very often, and I honestly can't see a very good application for it. I don't really like that I'm defining these Gmax Pokemon by just their Gmax moves, because of course they're a little bit more than that. They're just the fact that they are Dynamaxed at the time, or Gigantamaxed at the time. But I do think that Gmax Snooze isn't all that great. And to be honest, I don't think Grimmsnarl as a Dynamax is all that great. I think it's better used as a supportive Pokemon, someone to set up screens, someone to set up other kind of prankster stuff. There's a lot that you can do utility-wise with Pokemon that have prankster. Because that extra priority just isn't helping too much when you're using like a lot of targeted stuff. Especially because Psychic Terrain is out there, especially with Pokemon like Indeedee floating around. They just kind of shut down targeted pranksters or attacking pranksters pretty hard. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put Gmax Grimmsnarl. I'm going to put it below regular Grimmsnarl. I think that it's still okay. Just you have to be using the right set with it. Let's be honest. Only 4 left. We've got Gmax Hatterene, or as Kevin likes to say, Hattern. Gmax Hatterene, who I'm going to pretty firmly put in the... I've got to put it above Grimmsnarl, and I've got to put it above Gardevoir, but do I put it above Sylveon? Man, that magic balance is so good. And look at me, I'm not talking about its Gmax move because I'm looking at that one first. So I mean, Gmax Smite with the confusion is really worth putting on. I think that it's not a Gmax move that does nothing. And I have been kind of haxed out by it certain times. So, you know, well, yeah, I'm going to put it in the A tier. But I think even more than that, Hatterene itself belongs above Hatterene Gmax. I would even say it goes above the Sylveon because of the fact that you're using Trick Room on it, you're using Magic Bounce, you have all of these different types of things that you can do with Hatterene. That's kind of like if you look at how my tier lists are usually set up, I like to put the Pokemon that have lots of different sets and lots of different things that you can do with it near the top. And then the Pokemon who are kind of segmented into their own little thing, those are the Pokemon that end up in the middle. And then the Pokemon who can't do anything are at the bottom. So that's how that goes. Speaking of Pokemon that can do incredibly versatile things, let's look at Whimsicott, right? Whimsicott is one of those prankster users like Grimmsnarl that, one, I'm definitely putting in the S tier. Was there ever any doubt that you can 100% use a whole bunch of different things with? You can use it as a Tailwind user. You can use it as a Fake Tears user. You can use it as a weather setter. Like, I've seen Whimsicotts used in Trick Room and they work just fine. Like, the priority on Whimsicott makes it really good because of its kit. Not only that, but its typing is really, really good. It's kind of defined the meta such that it's made Pokemon like Arcanine needed on certain teams. It's made Pokemon like Incineroar needed on certain teams. So, I mean, I would say that Whimsicott is not the best Pokemon that you can possibly put on your team. I would consider that as Togekiss in the Fairy type, but it's definitely a Pokemon that you're going to see on lots and lots of different teams for lots and lots of different reasons. And then the last Pokemon that we're going to talk about is Mimikyu. Mimikyu, I believe, is an incredible Pokemon. Ghost typing is an incredible defensive typing. Fairy, obviously, really good, as we've been seeing this time around. But you know what? I do consider it a better Pokemon than Gardevoir in many respects. I wouldn't put it in the B tier. Might I put it in the B tier? Ooh, you know what? I think I am going to put it in the B tier. Yeah, I'm going to put Mimikyu in the B tier because you know what? It's good. It's good. But it's not one of those Pokemon that you're going to put on every single one of your teams. You're going to see it on a heck of a lot of them, though. You're going to see it on a ton of teams. But I think only in situations where you need a little bit more of a defensive type or a bit of it more, or you have the room to put in a Pokemon that wants to set up. That's really the only kind of time that you're going to want to put Mimikyu on. There are a lot of cases where Mimikyu just does not fit, mainly because you've put other fairy types like Whimsicott or Togekiss or Clefable or Primarina on your team already. You're not really going to put the double fairy type because Mimikyu really does have that typical fairy weakness of the steel type. So you want some other Pokemon on your team that can deal with that. So here it is. Take a look. This is the tier list. Yeah, you know what? I'm reviewing it right now. I like it. I like that tier list a lot. I stand by my decisions for fairy types. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's really fun putting these together. It really gets my gears turning when it comes to team building and that kind of stuff. So look forward to seeing some of these Pokemon in upcoming videos and let us know what you think and let us know what kind of tier list you want to see next in the next episode of Pokésports. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.